The Damascus encounter. The light that broke the darkness. The sun rose bright over the rocky terrain as Saul and his companions pressed onward along the dusty road that wound its way from Jerusalem to Damascus. The air shimmered with heat, and the hooves of the horses kicked up clouds of dust that clung to their robes. Saul, riding at the head of the group, felt a surge of pride. In his satchel were the official letters from the high priest, his authorization to arrest anyone who followed Jesus, binding them and dragging them back to Jerusalem for judgment. For Saul this was more than duty. It was passion. Each step of the journey felt like a march toward victory. His mind replayed scenes of believers dragged from their homes, of faces twisted in fear as he delivered them to prison, of the approval he had received from the Sanhedrin for his zeal. The more he thought about it, the more determined he became. Damascus will fall into line, he muttered under his breath. His companions glanced at him but said nothing. They had grown used to his intensity. To them, Saul was unstoppable, a man possessed with fire, a Pharisee whose zeal could not be quenched. But heaven had already decided. This road would not end the way Saul expected. The sudden interruption. As the caravan drew closer to Damascus, the city's outline just beginning to appear in the distance, something happened that none of them could have foreseen. Without warning, the sky above them seemed to tear open. A light, brighter than the noonday sun, burst forth, flooding the road, engulfing Saul and his men. It was not the warm glow of daylight but a piercing, consuming radiance, like lightning magnified 1,000 times. The brightness overwhelmed their eyes, the air itself seemed charged with power. Saul fell to the ground, his body trembling. His companions staggered in confusion, shielding their faces, some collapsing to their knees. Horses reared and cried out in terror. The entire procession ground to a halt under the blinding force of this heavenly light. And then came the voice of Jesus. "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" The words thundered not from the ground or sky, but deep within Saul's very soul. It was not a human voice, it was commanding yet tender, filled with authority yet piercing with sorrow. The repetition of his name was deliberate, urgent, inescapable. Saul froze. His mind reeled. Who was this?